Alright, today is May 15, 2020. We're going on 50 days of the lockdown here in Washington State. A couple days ago, I recorded a video about how I can put a lot of life events in perspective. Of a lot of things in my life that I used to think were insurmountable. They were actually very pleasant events when I could at least do them. Right, I don't have the luxury of going out and having a disagreement with a friend or having a disappointing situation at a contest or having a problem when I go out, right? Like running into traffic or other things like that, right? But one other thing I noticed is that I have a hard time, where I used to have a hard time dealing with unexpected events. Something that I had prepared and prepared and prepared and came up with 10 different contingency plans, and then the 11th thing would come up and I would be so thrown out of whack that I forgot to do the 10 things I actually had planned to do. I remember when I was working on my PhD, I would go to meet my advisor and I would want to tell her all the things that I had done over the last week, right? But I would get to her office and she would tell me that she only had 10 minutes to speak. And in reality, what I wanted to present might have only taken 7 minutes to present, but the pressure caused me to lose everything in my head. Even if I had wrote it down, sometimes I would get this shaking feeling, like, oh my God, and it'd be thrown out of whack. I used to do this online when I was collecting coins. I would be buying coins from a broker. Let's say it's the American Precious Metal Exchange, right? APMEX. And I would select the coins that I wanted to buy, and then I would go to the checkout page, and there's this big countdown timer, because if you take more than 10 minutes to load everything, they might have to reset the price, right? Because the price of gold and silver fluctuates quite a bit, right? So they give you 10 minutes to lock in the price. And that countdown timer used to bother me a lot. And I would rush to put in my credit card information, and I would be like, oh man, that wasn't even such a good deal. I just got thrown out of whack by that timer. So I have a tendency to let external cues like that really, really bother the fuck out of me. A couple years ago, I had a problem when I was going on vacation. I was living in Seattle, like I am right now. I was visiting my girlfriend in Rochester, New York, and the flight would take me to New York City. There would be a very long layover, long enough for me to actually leave and go sightsee in the city, and then I would come back to the airport and fly to Rochester. But when I got to New York, I went to my favorite restaurant, and they were really busy. Couldn't get in there. I had to go to a different restaurant, and my whole day just got thrown out of whack. I got lost in New York. I almost missed my flight. Actually, I missed the flight to Rochester. I ended up on a different flight, and when I saw my girlfriend, my emotions were just out of whack. I mean, the other restaurant was fine. The scenery in New York was fine. My mental state just got completely thrown out of whack. Because I had prepared. Food is a challenging one. When I prepare for something and it's not available, all my activities, emotions, planning, they all go out the window. I had a problem like that one time. I was living in Rochester, New York, and I had taken the Greyhound bus back to Pittsburgh, and I was thinking about something I wanted to eat when I got home. I would get home at like 11 p.m., and I was thinking about going to a grocery store to pick up my favorite food. I thought they closed at midnight. Turned out they closed at 11, and they were closed, and I just became a mess. There was plenty of good food back home. There was plenty of good company with my family. I just got so prepared to eat something, and my mental state just got all thrown out of whack. Where else have I done this? Oh, my favorite example of this. See, it's not just negative, unexpected events that throw me off. Positive ones do too. 2 years ago, I was thinking about asking this girl out on a date, and she was way out of my league. I totally expected her to say no. But I only asked because I wanted to cross her off of the list so I could ask somebody else. And she said yes. And I go out with her, and I got so excited that I left my laptop in the car in a visible place, and somebody broke into my car. And I just got thrown out of whack. I would never do anything like that. I'm usually much more cautious than that. I get very nervous if I have to leave 50 cents worth of change in the car. And I go out of my way to think about how I should leave the car when I park it. I got really nervous one time because I was on my way to Taiwan for a conference, and I needed valet parking for my car. I didn't have anything valuable in the car, but what I had was a box of dehumidifying salt. And I was worried that whoever was parking the car would spill it. And I left signs all over the car. Hey, if you spill this, please clean it up. This is corrosive. And on the box, on the windows, everything. And that's how I'm usually with my car. But I got so thrown out of whack by the unexpected date that it all went out the window. But COVID taught me that I had planned a lot of things at the beginning of 2020, right? COVID changed all of that and I survived, right? Next time my favorite food isn't available, a girl says no when I expect her to say yes, or yes when I expect her to say no, or my vacation changes a little bit, even if it's for the better, right? COVID, in a lot of ways, was for the better, actually. I'll have to think about this next time it happens this way. Thanks for watching.